This is Johnny Angel Book of Numbers, Boy Loves Boy, written by John Williams and read for you by John Williams.
City sky had more than once come into conversation of the air crew. Just another world and more pilot stories. He had no idea that one day he would have his own story to tell, and a little richer, more bizarre than anything had come off the lips of a stewardess searching for a long-lost brother. All stewardesses seem to have those things. Chris could only imagine that when a girl lost a brother, she became a spaceliner stewardess. She could search and be paid at the same time. He was now sorry he didn't have a lost brother as well, long or not, or a short lost brother. That was a more interesting and a little more original than he could search. Unfortunately, Christopher Cross had neither. What was bothering him now? Of course, his job. In the days he had absconded, no, the ship, his liner, had been boarded by pirates. One of the crew had been knocked flat by a stun gun, himself taken with the booty, and became booty in itself. Then life became a little more interesting. That was no longer important. Chris was beginning, no, not beginning at all, was well missing his job. He'd become used to discipline, even though he couldn't say the word properly. Enjoyed even the long hours, always on one's feet. The passengers couldn't understand that this was a hard job. Every job looked easy till you actually did it. Then, of course, the pilot's job was easy. Chris was convinced of that. All they did was sat in a pilot's chair, said a few funny words, glanced at the instruments, began to talk about their long-lost brother, or was it sister this time? What Christopher feared most, he would not return to his job. It may be seen as mundane and a distraction of life since he met Shane. Shane was the boy pirate. As Christopher was apprenticed aboard the space liner, Shane was apprenticed aboard the pirate ship. Shane, at 13, however, seemed to be well in command of his life, not an apprentice to anything. Au contraire, he was just a pirate. Age had nothing to do with it. Christopher could not think why he hadn't questioned the boy about his pirate life, background, or where he intended it would take him. And if Christopher thought Shane was a piece of work, his education was only beginning. The other morning, when he woken, gone into the shower with the boy. There were, of course, showers on space liners, but the crew never got to use them. First thing any of the crew did when they became planet-bound or even a space station was to have a good old-fashioned soak. This morning, however, was somewhat different. No sooner had Chris emerged from the shower, caught his floating towel, than he caught something else in the form of a voracious 18-year-old blonde with darkness on her mind. Joni, the girl from the spaceport, the one Chris was sent to when he mentioned he had escaped from his pirate, the one who would guide him back to his space liner, whether that happened to be, and he still hadn't found that either, was in fact a double-crossing double agent. Officially a good guy, unofficially a floozy, with profit on her mind, slaver. And like it or not, Chris had been sold to another slaver. 13-year-old named Jules, or Jules, depending on what university you went to. The boy, however, may have been
Sample complete. Ready to continue?